Sounds good. Yep. Really?
Yeah, okay. So this
Oh
whole
man.
time my mic has been muted. That's really unfortunate. So we have to go over all of this again. Okay. Um yeah, okay. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Um anyway, let me do this entire intro again. Okay? Good god.
Yeah.
So,
We love the failures.
yeah, dude, failure is what I do best, okay? So, we're live if you guys didn't know this, okay? Don't worry, your sound is not muted. That was me, okay? We have here the usual 50 Blades of Grey, okay? We have my friend Alec, okay, who is EFI in my Discord. We have Deadshot11, and we will be having Jame, on a little bit later. But he gets off work at 7, so he's going to be a little bit late. So, hopefully he can provide insight where, it'd be useful. Now, I'm going to spam again this link in chat, okay? This is the, oh god, come on, stop. This is the invite to the Discord server that we're on, and we have a channel called Eggate, okay? As we are showing stuff on screen here, we are going to be also sharing those in the chat, all right? That way you guys can send those people as you want, and people can view this evidence directly. But what we're going to be showing you here is, we already know the kind of weird controlling nature of Brandon, of Balisong flipping. But this is it's a little bit beyond that. This is kind of really creepy stuff. So just as a little bit of background, okay? Balisong flipping's name is Brandon, okay? And he has an alt account, or it's somebody allegedly is his moderator, but we believe it's an alt account, okay, where he does all this weird stuff, and he never does this weird stuff on his main, okay? But his alt account, Jake Banhammer, which is kind of a cringe name, okay, but his alt account, he never talks in voice channel, okay? And he has made all kinds of excuses, whether it's, oh, I'm under contract, so I'm not allowed to, or, oh, I don't have a mic, or whatever. The whole thing is just, it's, you know, when you look over, and you can check on the previous podcast, we go a little bit more into depth on that, but we think it's the same person. But either way, Brandon's well aware of what's going on here, if this is, in fact, his moderator. He's well aware that his moderator is doing this. And so, as far as we're concerned, this might as well be Brandon doing it, because he's allowing it and, you know, even laughing about it. So what he has done here, what we're going to be showing you, is Brandon exchanging things like moderator positions, Discord Nitro, and his, you know, cheap, shitty 3D printed glow mod Balisong, allegedly Balisong, in exchange for videos from prepubescent children biting into raw eggs. Okay. Yeah, I know. How can you not have a mic in 2021? It's literally like you can probably get it at the bottom of like a Cheerios box, dude. Like, give me a break, okay? So you guys, before we get started, is there anything you guys wanted to say? You guys want to just sort of introduce yourselves, starting with Alec? Or I'm sorry, starting with 50 Blades of Grey, probably, although he's already probably well known.
Yep. So I think most who have been watching Shiv Shack know me. I just had to step away for a moment, so I joined in on the later half of that. Really came into this situation not knowing much about really much of anything. I had not watched the Balisong Flippings videos prior. Hadn't even really heard of them outside of kind of not even in really, I hadn't seen him in any of the groups that I'm a part of. So like the Facebook group, and there's two Facebook groups where I'm in, the Balisong memes and then the Balisong flippers and Balisong knives. Never seen him interact there. So this has been a really kind of shocking experience for me, learning about kind of how some of these, well, in this case, this particular YouTuber wields influence in a really what I would describe as a negative and destructive way. Despite his claims of being a force of good in the community, I think that's a warped perception. I think it's a very warped perception. But I'm gonna save my breaths for when we get into the podcast and allow everyone else to introduce themselves.
Yeah. So Alec, you want to just, you don't have to go in depth, but you want to just say hi to people or whatever and give them a quick background of your interest in the Balisong community?
Yeah, so my name's EFI, or Alec as my real name. I'm not too big into the community. I've been around for a long time. Been friends with Squiggle Scales or Doug for a very long time as well. Met him back a couple years in the official Balisong server, I believe, with Jack. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have come across Brandon's videos on YouTube. Didn't think too much of it. Noticed he had quite a large following. Other than that, though, don't know much about him until all this came to fruition. And that being said, I do have my own opinions. I value everybody's opinion on the whole subject matter. And I'm mostly just here to, you know, give my insight on what I see and what could be done and how things are.
All right, and then Deadshot, go ahead and introduce yourself, and you're welcome to talk about your server as well.
All right. I'm Deadshot11, owner of Flippers United Discord server, and just here chilling and talk about Brennan. Really is what I'm here for, because you know he's really not a good person in my opinion. That's all I really have to say.
All right, and it's worth noting there's a lot of people behind the scenes on this that have been helping a ton on, you know, gathering some of the more creepy things that have happened. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, where should I start? Let's start really simple. Okay, so you guys can see here. Let me go ahead and now just send this to the thing here while you guys look over that. So you can see here, right, at the time that this was September 22nd, there were just, like, it was a bunch of kids in the server, right? Like, it was a small server, and there were a bunch of kids, all of whom have YouTube channels, okay? And Brandon found them on there and sent them an invite to his server or whatever. And then he says he's going to make everybody mod, but they have to eat a raw egg, right? Now, you can see here, right, this is what happens when one of the kids tries to do this, right? He goes and tries to get a raw egg. His parents are like, what? why are you trying to eat a raw egg? They didn't even realize that like he's trying to do this for a video to send to some guy online, right? Like it's just kind of a weird thing in and of itself. And then his response, of course, is, you know, just like shocked that the kid actually had the gall to talk to his parents about it, right? Like clearly the implication, he was not supposed to be talking to his parents about this, right? So that's just kind of like, you know, a creepy component of it. Like why is it so bothersome to you that the kid's parents know, right? So that's
Yeah, and just a comment on that too. The thing about this is it's implying that this should be something only known between was it this is the Banhammer account and the kid that he's talking to. And the reason why I would say that is because any sensible parent would ask, what do you need a raw egg for? And if you follow, okay, well, if you're talking to some guy online, he's telling you to bite an egg. What's that all about? At that point, I think the parent would want to know who is telling you to do this. It's some random guy online. Oh, what? He has 150,000 subscribers. Still makes you someone not to listen to. That's not a reason to listen to some random dude online. I mean, that's kind of my comment on that. He knows that would be the logical next steps.
right.
100%. I totally agree with that. As we're sitting here doing the podcast, I'm always looking over my shoulder to see what my child is watching on YouTube, because you never know what's online.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just check something real quick.
You'll see like multiple times throughout this podcast, I'm sure, that he makes it pretty clear that what he's doing is weird, unintentionally by the things that he says back.
Right. You can
Well,
tell by his
it's the
response.
emphasis.
Go on.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good to go.
Oh, well, I was gonna say it's this intention to keep it private.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you weren't ashamed of it, or if you were fine with it kind of being public knowledge, then you would do that thing in public. But it's this kind of siloed down, which is an intentional choice as well. And I come at it from the view of it's using power and influence to intimidate people into doing things they otherwise wouldn't do. Coming at it from the perspective of he knows that for the participant involved that it is both humiliating and really I would call it degrading as well. I certainly wouldn't want to do any. I certainly in this particular screenshot here, I would not want to do what he's asking. I'd probably tell him to pound sand. Like you got 150,000 subscribers, dude. Congratulations. I don't care. Like that's not a reason for me to humiliate myself for you.
Right. Yeah, and as you guys will see in further screenshots we post here, he's well aware of the, you know, kind of weird nature of this. And it's just kind of given away in the way that he phrases what he says, right? And you'll also see with his the way that he chose to react when this stuff was first made public, that people were first made aware of this. So that's that there. Now I do want to, again, for this photo right here, this was in the general chat. Okay, this was not DMs. Okay, this is in the general chat, and this, I'm gonna make everyone a mod. This was sent to the entire server for people. Okay, and one of the things I do want to also note is, as far as I'm aware, that there were 2 moderators who were adults. The rest, I believe, were all children. But the 2 moderators who were adults never had to do anything as far as sending egg videos, right? Like he had no interest in that. And actually, another thing just to point out, which I'm going to reiterate a few times as this comes up, is like a defining theme of this. There's a transactional nature to this, right? He's exchanging something that the kids value in exchange for something that he values, right? So the question is, why does he value that? Why does he value a video of a kid biting into a raw egg, right? Because this is clearly a transactional situation. Right, and you're going to be seeing that a lot more in future screenshots as well.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's. Oh, you were gonna say?
No, I was just reacting to that because it's actually like it's such a kicker.
Well,
Yeah,
it
and
is. Oh, EFI.
yeah, and for him to say, "I'm gonna make everybody a mod," if you have such a large following and you have a larger Discord group, wouldn't you figure that you would want your mods to be, somebody you trust, somebody you know, or somebody of value, not just, "Hey, I'm gonna make everybody a mod," and just give every random person power in a Discord server. That can screw up a lot of things.
Right. Anybody who was looking
Mm.
for a genuine moderator position would not be. And this is, I don't mean this to sound mean in any way, but they would not be looking for prepubescent children to moderate their server, right? Like that he
Exactly.
shouldn't. Like that's ridiculous. Like he's literally basically the whole thing is just kind of nuts here. Give me one moment here.
Yeah, you're just giving power to anyone out there.
Yeah, and actually a good, and this is, I would even kind of put it into the category of irresponsible in general, is just you don't know how really, to what you guys had said, you don't know how any of these people are going to react or behave or whatnot. They could be, I mean, just aside, these are just general things, but they too could be using their influence as a way to, and I'm not saying that the kids did this, this is mainly referring to the adults, so I just want to clarify that, but those adults could be using their power and influence within the group in a negative way. I mean, maybe he knows these people, but if you don't, I mean, there's that potential for, you're having adults use moderator position as kind of a I don't know, as you had mentioned, kind of transactional, where do this, you'll get this. I mean, it opens up the potential for there to be problems. I mean,
Exactly.
it could be anything from bullying, which, and I know Balisong Flipping really likes to say that he doesn't promote bullying or toxicity in any way, but from all I've seen so far, that is not true.
Oh yeah.
That is simply not true.
Oh yeah, and we will be seeing a little bit of this later too. And this stuff goes beyond just normal bullying. I mean, this is some pretty messed up stuff. I do want to just let you guys know, Jayum just joined here. Go ahead and say hi
Hey,
to
what's
people.
up, guys?
Yeah, so
I'll be back in a moment.
sounds good. So he's now in the podcast here, and yeah, he should be able to provide some insight on different things here. But what I'm going to show you guys next here, okay? During the podcast that we did last week, okay, the one that really kind of this all blew up in. During that podcast, Brandon or Jake, right? Whichever one is actually using the account, but I'm just going to say Brandon. Brandon posts this in his general chat, right? Does so-and-so, one of the kids on the podcast, want me to call his parents or release his egg eating video? Right? What's with that? What's with that, bro? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why would you post that, right? Obviously, you don't want him talking about it on the podcast, right? So that's messed up. But it's like, I feel like there's better ways you could handle that than to say something like that. Like, holy shit, bro. Okay. And first off, you don't have the competence to actually find his parents' contact information, first off. So he shouldn't worry about that anyway.
Well, can I just clarify something though? So this is where, from when I originally heard about Balisong flipping, this went from me just being kind of suspicious of his negative behavior to fully understanding that he is manipulative and a very negative influence to those that he claims to be a positive influence for. So this picture in particular highlights something very important. That being that he's implying that if he contacted the parents, that they would be on his side.
Right.
That's the implication in this particular picture. If I contact your parents, they're going to say, "Why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that." And this random guy that asked you to do it, yeah, he was totally within his rights there. He was totally doing something that was completely fine. When in reality, if he were to actually get in contact with this person's parents, or rather this kid's parents, they would say, "Who in God's name are you? And why are you asking my kid to do this? And why?" I mean, he would never do this. Like, he would never do this because he knows this would be the outcome. But they would want to find this guy's address, name, contact information immediately if they're harassing their kid. Because that's what this is. This is basically blackmailing a kid. Like, let's not mince words.
Right.
Threatening to contact someone's parents over a video that he requested for is, I think it's fair to say that's well within the scope of blackmailing.
Right.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And I think it's kind of showing as to why he might be gathering these kinds of videos. And, you know, it's just basically to hold a relative level of power over these kids. It's really creepy.
Yep.
I would also like to make another point too on this. For those of you thinking that maybe they're different people, my point number one is like, if these are two different people, this is Brandon's supposed, company manager, site manager, partner with the YouTube, he camera stuff. Like, this is his like number one partner, like, in all of this, if it's a different person. So either way you look at this is not just like coming at you with a grain of salt. Like, this is serious either way.
Right.
Oh, he's complacent in it at the very least. Complacent in this extremely negative behavior. Complacent at least.
Right. So, and just so everybody knows, I also posted that one in the Eggate channel in case anybody wants to share that around. And if I ever do forget to send one here, let me know in the chat. It's not intentional. But it's just kind of a lot to try to keep track of here. Now, I do want to give you guys really quickly a, just so you guys know, for sure that this happened, right? Here he is. This is the same chat. He just, this kid scrolled down to screenshot this. But here he is exchanging nitro for a video of a kid eating a raw egg. Okay. Again, what's with the transactional nature? What are you gaining from a video of a kid eating a raw egg that it's worth $5, minimum $5, maybe 10?
He's like, that's awesome. That video is awesome.
Right. And that's just a weird response. That's a weird response. Right.
Well, so my thing is, I fully understand uplifting even young members of the community. I fully understand that, and I think there are many people within the community who support in doing that. Whether that be, like, I could understand, this would be a very good example. If there was a kid, he was trying to put edits together, specifically requested that I can do better edits if I get access to Nitro, and somebody did in fact help the kid have access to Nitro. That's one thing. But typically that's like a gift that you don't expect things in return for. Or an appropriate exchange might be, yeah, I'll get you Nitro, and you know what? Let me see what you can do with this Balisong video that I have. Do an edit for my Balisong video, and I'll get you Nitro. Let's make that agreement. That is appropriate in nature, given that this is supposed to be, at least as far as I can tell, a community for Balisong flippers. That this isn't a community for people who bite into raw eggs.
Right. It's not like a jackass daredevil type community, right?
As far as I can tell, that's what was marketed on at least from what I've seen on the YouTube channel. It's a community, a safe space for Balisong
in big
flippers.
Fucking quotes. Let me add that real quick.
Yeah, but that's what's marketed.
Right. Now, the other thing is, if it is something, like, obviously this is just beyond the pale, right? Clearly this is not the case. But, like, let's say it is, like, some daredevil, server where people like to give each other stupid challenges. Why are you inviting primarily children there, right? Again, why? What is your motivation for that? That's just weird, bro. Like, seriously.
Yeah, that just seems highly inappropriate.
Yeah. Right. It's just not fair. Like, you're taking advantage of the kids. It's just wrong. So I also sent that in the chat for you guys. Let me see, where do I want to go next with this? Let's expand on this sort of blackmailing thing a little bit, and I'm going to show you another screenshot here, you guys, with a little bit more going on. And I'm going to send this in the server as well. There you go. So obviously you guys have seen this. But you can see him trying to explain this away, right? The one screen grab of me asking, does so-and-so want me to release the video? First off, that's not all you asked. Okay, that's not what you said. What you said is, does so-and-so want me to call his parents or release the egg eating video, right? So clearly that or is intended as those are both negatives, right? Which you'll actually see here, right? He knows this kid doesn't want it released, right? So anyway, clearly he doesn't want it released, and that's why this guy said that. He doesn't like this guy spreading this information, right? He doesn't like this kid's, telling people how he was treated. But he claims it was because he wasn't sure why anyone who supposedly didn't want anyone to know about it would go on a podcast to tell everyone about it. Maybe they'll share it on the podcast. No, actually, we're not shitty people like you, bro. That's kind of cringe to think that we are. Which is why I said to him, do you mind if I show this screenshot on the podcast? And, obviously you heard that because I know you listened to that whole podcast because you referenced multiple different parts throughout that video in later comments. So thank you for that. And you can see here, I think I did a great job keeping my word. Well, did you though? Because prior to this, nobody really needed to know any of this. And it only came out because he was talking about how he regretted it and was upset by it. Right? So, did you though?
There's something very interesting in this screenshot that I want to highlight. So some of these, I haven't gotten a full look at all of these, but there's something very, very key that I want to highlight here. And that is this comment, and I believe it's still up on your screen, that says, why wait for some lame YouTube podcast with 200 viewers to address this situation, to bring this up? So the reason why I want to highlight this is because this is a very clear intimidation tactic, and the purpose of it is to say it's only 200 people who are listening to you. This is only 200 people who are going to allow you to tell your story. It's to downplay. These are all minimization tactics. If you look up manipulation tactics online, anybody can do this. There's this particular idea of minimizing the situation. So in this case, he's trying to minimize how much of a reach this could have. Yes, exactly. So that's something very key that I want to highlight on. And this is, again, why I really think, just despite Balisong Flipping's claims, I really do believe that this is just indicative of a manipulator and someone who is practicing extremely toxic behavior. At the very least, that is what I would say based on the information provided.
Right. And now to go through on the right here, right, you can see he's trying hard to pretend that, he's not really, I don't understand. How is this blackmail? Well, we know you're dumb, bro, but clearly the threat here is that you're going to either call his parents or release the egg eating video if he doesn't stop talking about it. That's the threat. I know that's tough to understand, but it's right there. Okay. So I thought I'd edit this together for you, maybe help with the cognitive dissonance a little bit, kind of simplify that for somebody in, your mental position right now. But there you go. And since I know you are interested in seeing the proof, here you go. There you go. Okay. And the reason we're not calling the FBI is because the FBI is not interested in whether or not you're going to call this kid's parents. Okay. So that's why, if we had evidence of potentially more severe stuff, then we would be going to the FBI. So, putting that out there now. So yeah, anybody else want to say anything on this topic?
No, I think 50 Shades kind of hit the nail on the head there with what he said.
Cool. All right, and that one is now in the server for you guys if you're interested. Let's see what else. Now I want to just put this out here, okay? So right here, okay, you can see this is his first explanation. Okay, so this is part of why we didn't release stuff right away, is we wanted to see what his explanation was going to be because we knew he didn't know what we had. Okay, so what he chose to explain it was, yeah, well, when somebody asks me, you know, for free shit, I say, yeah, go bite a raw egg. Kind of like the, oh, go pound sand thing. First off, that's not a figure of speech, okay? But everybody knows that, okay? And then you say, oh, and people actually do, and you're acting shocked, okay? Maybe you would be shocked the first time if that's what happened, okay? But you wouldn't be shocked the fifth time that happened, right? You wouldn't be shocked the fifth time.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, go for it.
So, if this is kind of like, so the how do I word this? So we get to the point where he's being introduced to the idea of this being inappropriate behavior to conduct with young or teens or younger children. He's introduced to this idea. I think just a really bizarre part of this is the defensive nature. So I can understand, like, okay, guys, explaining, there's a bit of a confusion, but you know what? I agree. I think this is actually inappropriate behavior. I'm looking back on my behavior and saying, you know what? I can see why this would be considered negative, problematic, so on and so forth. Instead, there is this very clear intention to normalize and to say, well, no, this behavior is actually okay. You know, this is just something that I do. This is just what I do. This is normal. This isn't inappropriate. This is just normal. I mean, it's clear. It's clear as day. That's what's going on.
Right. Yeah. No, obviously, and you will actually be seeing. You'll be seeing at the end here, or not at the end, but pretty soon coming up. When this all kind of blew up, the way he chose to handle this is to essentially double down, right? So his goal is to double down and make it seem like, oh, you know, if this were really that bad, you know, as bad as it looks, then I wouldn't be doubling down on it, right? That's the implied interpretation from him doubling down on it. Okay. And that's why he's doubling down on it. But you'll be seeing coming up here, he tries very, very hard to be like, oh, it's just a joke, you know, like, oh, you guys should all go bite eggs. You know, it's, again, kind of cringe, but like, you know, and I do appreciate.
Why turn it into it? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Go on.
Well, I was gonna say, why turn it into a joke? If people are saying, you know, I have concerns about, you know, why were you telling people to do this? And even the people, if the people he was telling to do it are coming forward saying, I didn't feel good about this situation, why are you trying to turn it into a joke? Typically, to people who are trying to show that they've learned something about the situation and are trying to become better, would say, I've heard your concerns. This is not a joke. If it was construed as a joke, it's not a joke. I'm making steps to change this behavior. That is so much not what's going on here.
Also, I'd like to point out that what you read here by a person or whatever is something that people do in their servers. They will say what they think, and then they'll like twist it afterwards to like make it to where, you know, Brandon would accept it, because there is a fear factor. You know, you are gonna get banned if you say something or anything out of the liking. So I believe that's what's going on there.
Right. Yep.
But yeah,
I mean, and you can
almost-
see this guy right here is a moderator, right? Allegedly, this is somebody who would have had to eat an egg, right? But I'm not sure if it's actually in some of the screenshots I post here, but I will tell you, like, he was like unaware of this egg stuff. Okay, so
I think JM had something to add.
yeah, go on, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it almost seems like he's trying to maintain like deniable plausibility, or like it's almost like baby's first plausible deniability.
Right,
But
right.
if he wanted to maintain plausible deniability, you also wouldn't be caught publicly using it as a form of blackmail, right? To cultivate this yes man, like you have to do what I say, or I'm gonna call your parents, or I'm gonna release your egg video, right?
Right. And I will put it out there right now. If he ever does try to do this to somebody else, no, he's not going to call your parents. Somebody like this will never call your parents. He does not want to. He doesn't want anybody knowing that he even exists. Okay, so don't ever don't ever worry about that. And that's implying he even has the competence to figure out any kind of information on somebody, really, that unless it's just given to him, which is something we're going to address a little bit later with some kind of cringy shit that he did. But that's going to be for the end of the stream because it's just kind of funny. So,
yeah, if he was interested in playing these kinds of games with anybody, like, he wouldn't be doing it to exclusively children. He's doing it with children because he knows he can get away with it with kids.
Right. Right.
Easy to manipulate, yeah.
Or other reasons, but clearly it is, clearly it is, this is clearly aimed at children, right? And that's why the only people who have done it are children, right? Which is just,
Do we
weird.
want to mention the salmonella thing? I've heard some people talk about
We're
it.
going to be getting to it later.
Well, that's actually a genuine health risk, yeah. But to your point, yeah.
We will get to that later. Let me just do something really quickly. Sorry guys, 1 second. All right, I'm back. So let's see, where do I want to go next on this? So let's see. I think another good spot to go here. Actually, let's just talk about the salmonella thing. So I want to show you guys just the sheer level of stupidity of this guy. Allegedly he said, wash it, I don't want you getting sick. Okay, bro. I don't think you understand how salmonella gets people sick with raw eggs, okay? It's not the eggshell being dirty, bro. Okay? Give me a break, dude. Seriously. It's ridiculous. So, and actually he never said this. There is no record of him saying this. He mentioned at one point saying that they should eat pasteurized eggs or something, but he never said, wash it, I don't want you getting sick. Okay? I'll put that out there. I don't know. Is that one worth putting in the Discord? I'll just put it in. I don't give a shit.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, again, if you just even cared about the people that you were asking to do this, you might stop. You might say, hey, even if I am worried about, I'm worried about this small chance of someone getting sick, because it is a small chance. But even still, maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't be asking people to do this if I'm actually concerned with people's well-being. Maybe I stop myself from asking people to do this.
Right.
No, I'm just gonna do it anyways because I really clearly don't care. I have a pattern of not caring. I have a pattern of thinking that because I'm in a position of influence that I can do what I want. I kind of need to remind that there's been more than one Onision in history. You're not special. Let's put that out there.
Right.
There's been multiple manipulators throughout history with an influence. You're not a special case here. So normally people who would say there's a risk, a small risk, but is there a purpose for me taking this risk? No, I'm going to mitigate the risk by not asking people to do this. That is logical thinking that most people in a position of influence who are well-rounded, well-adjusted people, that's the logic they take.
Right. Now, you guys wait till you see this next one here. This is just weird. So it starts out, okay? He blames this kid. It's all this kid's fault. Okay? Now, there's a lot on this page, but it's all the kid's fault, right? That's how big this guy is. Yeah, big man, right? And also, that kid was British, not Australian. Okay, so I know you're retarded, but... So anyway, he knows this kid's 10 years old, so he clearly asked the kid or something. And you can see, of course, Nice Y defending him, right? You'll see him throughout other screenshots that will probably end up showing where he's defending him. But I want to point out something especially creepy here, okay? So this video, which I've hidden the link to, is an unlisted video, okay, on a YouTube channel with like practically no subscribers, okay? And the title of all of these videos is eating a raw egg for views, okay, or something to that effect, okay? First off, all right, you don't make an unlisted video if you're trying to get views, okay? Like, even a 10-year-old knows that, right? So, like, he was, and also they, oh, you know what?
Sharing to the?
I'm not.
Yeah, I was gonna
Thank
ask.
you for letting me know, guys. Sorry about that, guys. So, start over again. You can see kind of what's happening here. So this video, here was an unlisted video on a very small kids YouTube channel. Okay, and all these videos were a variation of the title "Eating a Raw Egg for Views." So clearly, they were given that title by Brandon. Okay, that they should put. Okay, it's like a plausible deniability kind of like just put this there, you know, so nobody asks questions. And you know, you can see how young the kid is here too, right? We're not going to be showing this video, okay, even censored or anything. We're not going to. But what I want you to notice here is this guy asks him in response to the 10-year-old allegedly Australian kid, right? What happened? That's at 12:15 a.m. Okay, at 12:15 a.m. within 60 seconds, this guy went and found an unlisted YouTube video on a 10-year-old's YouTube channel with practically no subscribers. What's the explanation for that? It's because he had it bookmarked. This guy had this video bookmarked so he could pull it up quickly. That's weird.
Or at the very least, memorized, which still isn't a great, you know, why. Like the explanation is why. Or the question to ask is why.
Right. Why were you able to pull that up so quickly? That's weird, dude. Right? So I want to point that out to everybody, right? This happened in less than 60 seconds that he pulled this link up. Okay? Now you'll see here the order in a number of these different screenshots changes, right? Obviously it's all this kid's fault, right? That's you know what he's going with. It's all this kid's fault. And you know, then it's, I guess, Brandon and then so-and-so. But if I remember correctly, the order changes, okay? So sometimes Brandon's like the third one to do it. Sometimes he's like the second. The whole thing is just kind of ridiculous. Apparently, this other kid won't do it, okay? Which, you know, smart kid. Good to not do that. Yeah, and so he's trying to make a joke out of it. Oh, I'm wielding my power, demanding it. You kind of are, though.
Well, see, the thing is, a very clear thing, though. So this is, again, minimizing the situation. This is why I really want to hammer this home and really hammer home that terminology. Minimizing the situation, because he's saying, my power, in quotations, implying that he has no power and no influence, or at least a lot less power and a lot less influence than people are painting it out to be. Now, the problem there is 150,000 subscribers is implied power.
Yes.
That is implied power. That's not something you just get to be like, oh, well, you know, it's I don't really have influence. I mean, I went and looked at his channel. I even looked at his shop. He calls himself the fastest growing Balisong community or page. I'm not sure exactly what the terminology is, but it's something along those lines. So clearly, I mean, he's well aware of the fact that if he's calling himself the fastest growing of all, I believe he does indicate of all, that he's aware of the influence that he has. So again, minimization of influence and power. It's if you don't know what to look out for, I know this can be like a little bit of at first it's difficult to pick up on, but once you know what you're looking out for, that it becomes so easy to pick up on.
Right. And so you will notice especially at the end here, we'll talk about this kind of the insecurity and how he's kind of always trying to appear like he's something he's not. You know, so yeah. Anybody else want to comment on this? Because this, I think, is definitely especially the time on that was just really bizarre.
He's just holding it for, you know, blackmail purposes. It's clearly evident that he is withholding evidence to use against somebody in the matter of this.
Or he has some other reason for it, right? Like, it could be not even blackmail, right? It's just like, you know, I have no
Yeah,
idea. It's just like,
yeah.
right. You
Yeah.
know, it's not necessarily even blackmail. And so just the point is, like, why? Like, there is a reason why he was able to get that link quickly. We can't, like, we have no idea what the reason is, but the fact that he had a reason is kind of bizarre, right? So, you know,
True. You're
I
not
just
you're
wanted to
not
touch-
always. Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to touch on what 50 was saying. It would be so difficult for a kid to recognize those kinds of tells. Like, it's really easy for us to just look at this and be like, obviously he's playing games, right? But if you're like 13, 14, even 15 years old, it's going to be really difficult for you to cut through the parasocial relationship that you've cultivated with this YouTuber and understand that, like, this is a fully grown adult playing kids to get videos of them humiliating themselves.
right. And it's especially not
That
going
was
to be
really well
easy
worded.
right. And it's going to be especially difficult if it's a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's taking advantage of these kids. It's just wrong. So
Man, you guys are so well spoken. I'm just like the brain dead person.
no, you're helping, bro.
Oh, dude, it's all just an act. Don't worry, I'm not that smart.
yeah, dude, he's a really good actor, though. I'm telling you.
I have Wikipedia and like a dictionary in front of me right here.
Yeah.
Thesaurus got everything. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we got to be able to pull out the big words, you know. Here's another one for you guys. I don't know what the story is behind this. But for whatever reason, this kid was sharing his school ID with.
Oh no.
I don't know why. Now he left his name and his picture. He censored this stuff. So this pink was censored by him. Okay, but I censored his name and the picture just because I don't want to put it there. But again, like that would kind of like it's just like I wouldn't want somebody posting that in my chat because I wouldn't like how it looks, right? Like that's just bizarre. So
It's a big red flag.
yeah. So you know, that's just another kind of weird thing here. I'll share that with people in case they want it. Let's just go through a few other just random kind of weird things. Okay, so this was kind of weird. You know, Brandon was talking about like, oh, we should have a clubhouse, which it's like okay, but then it goes, he wants to put a no girls allowed sign. That's kind of weird, right? Like it's just kind of a bizarre interaction to have, right? Like I would never say something like that. Like that's
Well, it's just a weird specification. So,
right.
and what was the purpose of this clubhouse? I'm just trying to understand.
I have no idea. I think they're just saying they should have a clubhouse or not. I don't recall seeing any context to this that was of any importance to understanding this photo, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, with more context, I'd be able to draw a little bit more of an opinion there, but yeah, I would need more context.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have no opinion on that one.
Okay. Another kind of bizarre thing here. Just I don't know why this screenshot looks like it was taken from outer space. It's just so low resolution, but you know, it's just kind of another bizarre interaction. Like, you know, I don't know. Like it's just weird. But I'm putting that up there.
Implications on that one are a little odd.
Yes, yeah, they're odd, but it's again
Very weird.
It could be just joking, and like everyone has just made a joke that ended up being awkward or something, right? And so like you don't want to condemn someone because of just one or two occurrences or something. Like you need to demonstrate a repeated pattern of behavior kind of thing.
Yeah, I was fixing to say the problem is these jokes happen every single day, often.
Yes.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
So
and to
there's
touch
a
on the
weird
joke,
saying. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like people typically they use jokes to kind of like test boundaries, right? Like they will make jokes that are kind of pushing the limits to see how far they can actually take it. And
Yeah.
usually like one or two awkward jokes doesn't really indicate anything, but a repeated behavior of that could indicate that perhaps he's trying to see exactly what he can get away with.
right.
Exactly. Oh,
And
and
that's actually a great point. Yeah. Oh,
I
Deadshot?
wanna yeah, sorry. I wanted to say on this screenshot right here, this was after I made my Instagram post about the blackmail
Yep.
that we saw earlier. And then he decided to go ahead and post in his chat the definition. I thought it was funny because I had to laugh at it just because he did what he's literally like showing right here. So I thought that was funny. But yeah,
I
Right.
think, and a good point about that, and thank you for raising that, is that why are you joking about something? I mean, if someone is saying that they felt uncomfortable about a situation, even if it is in hindsight, and I know there are within reason, in hindsight within reason, because there are stories of people completely taking things way too far, but if there's someone who is bringing up something that they felt uncomfortable with, the first reaction typically is to take it serious. You know, if someone is saying I felt uncomfortable with this, you normally want to hear them out first. Now, if what they're saying is completely in left field, okay, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, you're saying you felt uncomfortable, but like, but you know, it almost is like an immediate joke. That's what I don't really like about the situation is why would you turn it immediately into a joke? If these are people, you know, you were saying this is a safe space for you. This was a safe space for you. Then I asked you to do something that at the time you clearly weren't too comfortable with. You later tell me you were uncomfortable with it, or it's found out that you were uncomfortable with it, and I turn it into a joke.
Right.
I mean, it's just at the very least it's in poor taste for someone who should know better. I mean, again, if he's the fastest growing Balisong channel, you know, he's got a bigger channel than mine. I got 60,000 subscribers, which by the way isn't a small amount, but he does have a bigger account. Doesn't that mean he should know better? You know, if he's so much better at marketing, so much better at talking to the community, so much better at just being open, safe, and honest to these people, shouldn't he know better? I mean, I'm just some schmuck with 60,000 subscribers, right? Shouldn't he know better?
Right.
I mean, fair question.
Right. And I think it's just, you know, the more, and I will be showing some of the downplaying that he did after this. But yeah, you know, all of this is just an attempt where, you know, if you do something and it's clearly messed up, if you kind of double down on it, people's natural assumption is, oh, well, you know, he's probably not so bad that he would actually willingly double down on it. He just, you know, didn't understand that it could be interpreted such and such a way, right? That's what he's going for. He wants you to make that interpretation of it, okay? So that's that there. But I just want to show
just a
you.
final point about it. Oh, sorry. Just one final point is the implication with that last thing about the definition of blackmail is it's a joke to me. It should be a joke to you. That's the message that is being sent there. It's a joke to me. It should be a joke to you.
Right, and Jim Thorpe asked, what if he just likes eggs? Then he can go eat eggs. Why do kids have to eat them and send him videos of it? And why does it have a value to him? There's always like a transactional exchange here. The only time he actually said people should go make videos eating raw eggs without offering something in exchange is after we've announced all this and after the post where people made, you know, they posted the censored out version of the kind of blackmailing comment, right? It's the first time he ever said people should go make these videos and not send them directly to him, right? And he didn't offer something in exchange for it, right? Although he jokingly offers stuff in exchange in a few of the downplaying, which you'll be seeing here. Right? So you can see, right, he's, you know, oh yeah, go bite into a raw egg, tell everybody about it, right? You know, it's, you can see, and of course you can see Nice Y just trying to stop people from, you know, discussing this, which makes sense, you know. But yeah, so you can just see, these are all just sort of different, right? He's making a joke about the fact that he was exchanging stuff for it, right? So clearly he understands that there was a transactional exchange going on here, right? He sees that he had, in his mind, there was a value to the videos of children eating raw eggs, whatever it was, right? Like, whatever, if it's just like a power thing or like he just liked that he had influence, whatever it is.
I'm just seeing more minimization in here as well.
Right.
So one of the comments here is 2 dudes spent 2 hours crying over me and Brandon being one person. To be extremely clear, that is not what we did.
Right.
He is summarizing the stream as us hypothesizing that or not even hypothesizing, speculating that they could be the same person. When in reality, the crucial part of the stream was exposing this extremely manipulative behavior targeted at a younger audience. That is what the majority of those 2 hours was about. A small portion of that was speculating them being the same person. And it's even if that was the whole stream, what's important there is it's still saying that Brandon is completely complicit in the marketing guy or whatever his name is, Jake, acting in this manner, acting in this manipulative manner. So even if Brandon isn't, he is completely complicit in this Jake person acting in this way.
Exactly.
So even if it was just 2 hours, just that, there is still an important point to be made there. But minimization again, and he thinks he's slick. But the problem is he's dealing with people who are adults, who do know these patterns of behavior because they've either had experienced it themselves or were subjected to it and learned from the experience, or have seen it play out with either a friend or a family member. So he thinks he's slick, but he's a bit out of his league IQ wise. That's just straight up.
Oh yeah. So this one is now also shared, in case people wanted to go look at that. But it shows you, right? This was the strategy he went with, right? He's trying to. Yeah, go on.
One other thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see in the bottom left corner of this, he's talking about also be sure to check out Reddit and gain some clout if you ever bitten an egg for views. It's the hot story right now. And I believe what he's trying to do right here is, kind of take away from the fact that he's trying to get these videos for himself. And he's trying to make it look like you're doing it for your own views, not to give to him as a transaction, basically.
Right. Because why did, one of these kids, the one who first talked about this, why is it that, he just sent the video in private and was given Nitro in exchange for it, right? Yeah. That's just weird, right? He didn't post it public.
He's trying to put the blame on you for wanting the views instead of you know, he's trying to make himself look less weird in this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, he's freaked out when this shit got publicized. I mean, understandably so, right?
And that was after my Blackmail post, to be clear, on Instagram. So yeah, he was freaked out.
So someone's mentioning, I just want to address the comment in the chat. So someone's mentioning that and this is speculation, and as much as I did check Social Blade and see a giant spike in numbers, as much as I did see that, this is speculation. And that being that there was the potential for subbotting. There's a potential, but at the same time, I think we've discussed this in one of the previous podcasts. He is using a pretty clever name, Balisong flipping. So if you think about it, when you type in YouTube, Balisong flipping, you're probably going to do that if you're looking for the hobby. He would likely be one of the first pages to show up. And there is the potential that one of the videos spiked in views, or a couple of the videos spiked in views, which could cause a surge in subscriptions. So I'm not saying that's no. I'm not saying that's an unfair speculation, but at the same time, I can't. Just knowing what I know about the internet, I can't verify that at all.
Right, and the reality is this goes so far beyond anything like that. What we're showing here is so much. It reflects so much more of who he is than any kind of subbotting. Now I want to point out here, okay? You can see our friend Nice Y here. This guy is showing up again, right? Trying to help downplay it all. So, you can see here, right? He's trying to help, prevent people from getting information, right? Because he doesn't want people to get screenshots and fuck Brandon over, right? But my question is, why would screenshots cause any trouble for you? Nice Y, why don't you explain to everybody why people getting screenshots of what was happening in Brandon's server would cause any trouble? Because there's not an explanation. Not an explanation. You know what was going on, and you're trying to help cover it up. It's pathetic. So, there you guys go.
Yeah, and just a thing, and we talked about this on last stream as well. I joined the Discord, and I believe you did as well, Doug. I was banned within, I think, less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, we were banned at the same time. That was on the live stream, though, when we grabbed the...
Yeah, that's true.
Literally, when I joined there, I started typing in the box and was banned. I didn't even post anything.
Yep.
Now I understand. He doesn't owe He doesn't owe me to be in the group. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like, that's obvious. You know, it's not like I have a right to be there. At the same time, you know, he could have left me there for as long as he would have liked. I might not have said anything. I might not have typed anything, posted anything. I could have just been chilling there. In fact, it could have been a fake 50 Blades. Realistically, it could have been someone pretending to be me. It wasn't, but it could have been. And just the immediate response was nuke on site.
Right.
Nuke
So
on
he won't
site.
even give. Sorry.
No, go
Oh
on.
no, you go.
So he won't even give anybody the time of day if you are not already part of his community. He won't even give you the time of day to say hello, or if you are a no name, he won't even give somebody the opportunity.
I think he would prefer if you are introduced to the group by someone already within the group.
Yeah, because I have not
'cause-
joined the group, but per se, I was to just join. Am I going to get ridiculed right away? Of how'd you find this? Who do you know? And who are you?
Most
I
think it
likely,
is-
if they know your name, most likely.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
didn't.
wouldn't
What
be
they didn't
surprised.
want was they didn't want these screenshots coming out. But
It's weird. If you notice how Brandon runs his mod team and the people he keeps close, it's all people that are new to the community, like I once was, and I was a mod for him when I was new to the community.
right.
He knows that when people get more adept to the community and spread their wings a little bit, go out more than just what Brandon shows them,
Mhm.
they instantly find out he's not a good person. So that's why he cuts them off. That's why
Right.
he cut me off as soon as his first server kind of ended.
Right, and it's why
Just
people
cut
like
me off.
Nicewise stick around. It's because they're okay with what's happening, right?
Yeah,
So,
Or they enjoy the power that they're able to exercise. There is that potential as well. So
true.
they may not fully be on board, but they enjoy a status that they would normally not have just on their own.
True.
That's an important thing to consider as well.
right. So, yeah, there you guys go. There's that. Let's see what else is there we should go over.
Which I don't think any type of status is worth
No,
supporting that behavior.
Oh, of course not.
no,
It's
I mean,
complete
you
moral, corruption.
Which is why I didn't go begging on my knees to get back into his friend group and everything. That's why I, went my own way, made my own server, did my own thing.
Right.
Oh, you know what's another interesting point? Actually, Deadshot, I'm actually glad you just triggered my memory here. His YouTube serves as almost like a funnel for new community members to go directly to the Discord group. So what he does and this, I actually watched a video in preparation for this stream. He paints the majority of the Balisong community as toxic and anti-new person.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Now, that I would say that's intentional. Now, I will say there are people who are just, they are jerks. There are jerks in the community. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But the vast majority of people typically are supportive. As long as you follow general rules, like in the Balisong Knives, Balisong Flipping Balisong Knives Facebook group, the just one big rule that we ask people to follow is no trainers. We don't care if you own a trainer. Nobody cares. We just ask that whatever you post is a live blade. So I don't know why, why you would give the impression that these other groups, and it's a big group too, keep in mind, it's about 10, I think it might actually be 13,000 people in that group. So why would you give the impression, there's clearly 13,000 people say this is an okay enough group to stick around in. And yet you're painting pretty much all of them as toxic.
Right, and the thing is, there are toxic people in the community because we're talking about one right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And here's a even more fascinating situation. Now, I know the group is pretty hostile to people supporting like a YouTube channel, but you might think that someone with such influence might want to be an active participant in as many groups as possible. You might get that impression. I know I didn't do that initially. I was mainly Instagram. But I have branched out to different groups. I'm now in even Discord groups, which I never thought I'd be in. I'm not really super active, but I am in them, as well as Facebook groups. I'm still on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Not really as active as I once was. But typically, you want to be involved with the community. This is very much a attempt to silo this own, what's the word for it? Kind of sectioned off community that he has
Yeah,
full
yeah.
oversight into. Oversight into.
He's very against everyone else. Like anyone outside of his little community that he has is an enemy to him. Like back when I used to be a mod for him, he had both of us go on night missions, like literally in the middle of the night, and go name by name in other servers and ban every single person. And like going down their list of online people, ban, 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 ban everyone else from a different community.
Yep. All right. Now, one of the other things I wanted to address. So he created a new server, right? And because he doesn't want people getting into the old one. You know, who knows why? Who knows what kind of weird shit was going on in that one? But you know, he posts this screenshot. So he has the name hacker number 1234, and then in his Jake server, he posts this screenshot, right? And he deliberately crops this to include this. What this is literally the bog standard. Like, if you want to just do a really simple demonstration of a cross-site scripting attack, this is the bog standard copy and paste thing. This fucking loser went out and found something he could copy and paste to feel like a fucking hacker, right? And then includes it in a screenshot to try to impress the little children. Okay? That is fucking cringe, bro. That's pathetic. And you want to know what's extra sad about that? Let me go ahead and just post this real quick in the thing, just so people can see that.
Oh my god, I know what he's gonna do.
You want to know what the pathetic thing is here? I have a fucking degree in cybersecurity, you stupid fuck. I literally have cybersecurity research published. It was presented in Orlando, Florida in 2020. You idiot. I'm literally the thing that you're trying to pretend to be. You cringy motherfucker. But I don't go around posting creepy, cringy shit like that, trying to make people think I'm a fucking hacker. You moron. You don't know shit. You copy and paste a fucking... This idiot can't explain what a cross-site scripting attack is. It's you idiot. Like, he couldn't even give you the simplest explanation of what that's doing. It's JavaScript injection, you idiot. That's not how you hack a website. That's an attack on somebody's browser, you idiot. Fucking moron. Anyway, I had to put that there in the end because what a cringy motherfucker.
I appreciate that. That was good.
Yeah.
I do.
God. When I saw that, I was like, dude, you have to be kidding me. This guy is such a... Dude, literally, all of the fucking people... And you know what? This guy is... This guy
Oh,
is
did
just
you mention his
moron.
Discord name is Hacker? Literally.
Yeah, it's hacker
Really?
number 1234.
Yeah.
No, come on.
That's
Yep,
the funny
hacker number
part.
1234. I know a gigantic number of people who... A huge number of people, right? Just because I just so happen to have studied that field, right? And I have a bunch of friends from college, all of whom have now graduated. None of them, none, have a name like Hacker.
No, because it's the most obvious thing to put.
It's the
Why would
cringiest shit.
Why would somebody that is a quote unquote hacker put that in their title?
Right. What a fucking idiot. So anyway, when I saw that, I had to include something about that. Like I know you think you're such a genius, bro, but the funny thing is, like, you're literally trying to pretend that you're like me. And I don't go around calling myself a fucking hacker, and I have cybersecurity research published, you idiot. God. It's just people like that, bro. They're just so... It's like... I want to have sympathy for the guy, but at the same time, in light of all of this, I don't have sympathy. Like, it's not my fault you're fucking retarded, bro. You know? Anyway, so I had to include that.
I think that he's once again just trying to play up to his audience, and he knows that they don't know any better.
Right.
We know better because we have at least over room temperature IQs. So, it's not going to work here.
Bro.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Just wanted to put that out there. Anybody else have anything they want to cover on this? Because we don't really have a whole lot else that we want to put out there. We tried to condense it, just kind of give you guys the most relevant stuff. Like, there is other stuff, but it's like we just wanted to give you guys, like, look, with this evidence, you should be able to make your own decision on this. Okay, we shouldn't have to show you anything else. We shouldn't have to show you the video itself. Okay.
Well, you know what's a funny thing about this, right? I just want to dispel something. So it's almost like with the whole downplaying the channel size, downplaying the view size, it's almost like he's trying to imply that we're clout chasing by
Exactly.
bringing the subject up. And I need to clarify, at any moment, and I'm not, and this isn't me trying to like threaten or anything like this, but at any moment prior or any moment in the future, I could just decide to post about the situation on my YouTube, on my Instagram. Would I be clout chasing then? At what point, at what special number does it become clout chasing? Do I need to have more subscribers for it to be clout chasing? Is that what it takes? I can't talk about behavior that I view as manipulative and toxic if I don't have 150,000 subscribers, because if that's the bar for having just general decency, like, you need to have 150,000 subscribers or you can't comment on anything. That is so diluted, so painfully diluted. And I'm just hammering it home. It's a way to minimize it. You don't have the same amount of subscribers as I do. You can't comment on the situation. That is exactly what that is trying to do. And again, room temperature IQ. What a beautiful statement and what a beautiful cherry on top.
I know.
Your
Yeah, don't
amount of
hack me,
subscribers
Brandon.
Your amount of subscribers has no influence on who you are and what you do. If you had a channel with 20 people and were still, portraying yourself the way you are, this could still get brought up, even if you're a no-name. Now, is that clout chasing? No, it's stating facts and highlighting what is going on in the community. This is just a highlight for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're 150 or 50.
Exactly.
And here's the thing too. Most people, because he's already shown that he's willing to exercise power and influence. Most people, especially with the smaller amount of subscribers that you have, typically are going to be less prone to come forward with an opinion because they know that the repercussions of them coming forward can actually cause more problems than for them than if they just stayed quiet. So typically, as you go up in like influence to influence size, those who have more influence are going to be more comfortable. So it's, to me, having corroborating stories saying that they were subjected to kind of these attempts to manipulate and humiliate. I mean, that takes a lot of what's the word for it? Courage to come forward with, because it's not a small accusation. I mean, it's really not to say like I was being humiliated on the internet by someone who has influence.
Exactly. You should
That's
be using
hard
it for
to
the
do.
greater good.
Yeah.
He could be doing so much more with that community. You have 150,000 people on this community, which I thought was actually a very small community, but let's be honest, that is a very large following, and for him to use his influence in such a way is almost shameful. You shouldn't be going about it the way he is. He should be teaching them, showing them, not saying, I'm giving everybody a mod power. More like, hey guys, this week I'm gonna, teach you how to maintenance your knife. Not this, I'm going to oh geez, I don't even know where I was gonna go with that now.
No, I like where you were going with it, because Clockwork actually just put a comment in that I think ties in very
I
nicely
was
to
gonna
what
mention
you
it
were
too.
saying. Yeah, thank you, Doug. And thank you, EFI. So he says that his stance is that he's not responsible for his fans and that he's his own person. He wants zero responsibility. Others choosing his stance from his videos is their own choice, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And so what I was going to comment about this is he wants power and influence without the responsibility of being someone in power and influence.
Yet,
so that,
at the same time,
yeah.
will go out there and unironically say that if you flip live blades, you are responsible for kids stabbing other people at schools.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I mean, perfect logic to me, though. I think we can end the stream right there. I mean,
Yeah.
there is nothing else to talk about. Checkmate. checkmate. Like, damn.
So when you go to court, you can plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest, which means you're not gonna take responsibility for the actions, but you're gonna take the punishment. So he's not contesting right now.
Exactly. I did want to bring up. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it still, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk about the Balisong Community School.
No, I'm not going to go into it. I just decided it's just better to keep it on a less of
Can I give one
a
other
downer kind of tone.
All right.
Can I give one other
But
funny
thank you.
example though?
No problem. Yeah. What's up?
I got one other funny example. So, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that I've made multiple memes that have stirred many or rustled many jimmies many a times. But the very clear running theme is that I do not silence people by deleting comments. I do not silence people by trying to use my influence to then track down some guy who's only got 20, like saying, hey guys, DM this guy who's only got 20 followers and make him feel bad about his opinion.
Right.
I mean, you can be a controversial figure. I really don't care. But see, the thing that's important there is, and I think I've been able to prove it pretty reliably, is when I say that I'm not a role model, it's pretty damn clear that I'm not. Like, I'm not trying to pretend to be a role model. When I say follow my YouTube, you can learn bigger and better tricks with me, that part is true. But I'm not saying, I don't think in any of my videos, aside from me making fun of like dumb Balisong commentary, that I'm telling people how they should behave or what they should flip or anything along those lines. I'm not pretending to be a role model. And yeah, on my Instagram, what is it, memes now? I mean, come on. You can't have it both ways. You can't have power and influence, have a Discord, have a YouTube that you basically use as a funnel to go to the Discord, and then ask people to do things they otherwise wouldn't do, and then claim that you're not trying to be a role model when you're calling it a safe space, you're calling it a place where people can feel good together. You don't have it both ways. You're not having it both ways.
Right.
Exactly. And it's like the buck has to stop with somebody, right? Like, even if these are two different people, even if Brandon's not the one perpetrating this behavior, right? It is his responsibility because this is occurring within a community that he has cultivated, right? He's the guy in charge, right?
Right, and it's
And-
somebody representing him.
Exactly.
That was
It's
my
somebody
point
he
earlier.
directly put into power.
Mhm.
And, to the people who came out about this and were willing to discuss what they were, experiencing with this server, thank you so much. Like, it genuinely, as 50 Blades said earlier, it does take a lot of gumption. It does take a lot to come forward and talk about something that is so humiliating.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and I think
Well said.
we've touched on just about everything.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we don't really want to like do a ton of going over this. We've kind of been going over this the past like week constantly. We've been fielding questions from people constantly about it. So we're just doing this. We're putting it out there, but don't send us a bunch of DMs or tag us and ask us a bunch, to tell you the entire story again, because we've just done it here on this podcast. This is what we're willing to put out there. We're not going to be sharing any other screenshots or anything.
And I do want to actually add
Also-
something. Oh, Deadshot.
Okay. I was just gonna say really quick, do not ask us to show you the videos.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's not okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not sending the videos to anybody.
so the other thing there is I do want to add, let's not go, even if you disagree with the behavior that we've talked about, we're highlighting it, but that is not a call to action to then go harass Brandon or his channel. So as much as I think the guy is manipulative and just a general negative person in the community, that is not grounds to then go harass the person.
I agree.
Now, a good thing there to do is basically go into obsolescence. I think he actually does thrive off of the negative attention. This is more of a PSA, I hope, rather than a escalation of drama.
Right.
So this isn't a call to action. I want to be very clear about that because I know in these types of situations that can occur, but that's not what we're endorsing.
Yep. All right.
Mhm.
Well, thank you guys for joining, and thanks to our guests for coming on and discussing all this with us. It is kind of a stressful and depressing topic. And yeah, you guys have a great night.
You as well. Thanks for having me.